Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting on with life. I'm going to talk about somebody else's. No, we've talked about Marilyn here. If you're new, we met Marilyn for a brief 5, 10 minutes. It was more than 10 minutes. No, I don't know. It was a while. No, for a brief moment. So, and I was a fan long before that. Not a like this die-hard fan, but I was a fan. I liked his music. I didn't know much about him personally. Um, a lot of people talked about him, give or take. They didn't like him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was saying I'd never heard these other stories that have been coming out. It's not that I don't believe him, I do. I was doing the research between, well, it happened. Who did I study first? It was either his thing or the Depp thing. So him and Depp are both like ASPD socios. I mean, that's just their classic. And I'll read it for you guys so you can see what this is. I think Evan has a misconception about what a psychopath is and judging things all this way and whatnot. I don't think Marilyn would disagree that he has sociopathic behaviors, ASPD. So there's a lot of things with them because the way she's outlining it is actually wrong because you don't like learn really to be a manipulator. And why would you learn to be a manipulator? Like, it wouldn't be a thing that you would just desire. I want to be a manipulator now at age 40, 50. You know what I mean? It just isn't that thing. There's a thing in their childhood. So what was important in Marilyn's story was his upbringing, but also in Depp's. And Depp's was like the best one to go through because he had this like no personality thing on TV. So he had this fake persona. Like on TV, they interview him and he's just like no personality. So I couldn't even read into him. So I was like, I don't know anything about him. So in the most authentic way over here where I don't have any, I'm just on the fence. Like I have no personal opinion about him. I don't know anything other than what I seen on TV, which is a nobody. And then movies are just acting, right? So they're chronically putting on a mask when they're doing television, right? Because they're being characters. So I went through the Depp thing, and his childhood actually showed that he was showing signs of severe issues, like severe, like what you would see. I'm going to read through the Mayo Clinic so you guys can see like why I was even saying that as my personal opinion. Of course, I'm not a professional that can diagnose the guy, but it's pretty obvious like what was going on there. And then you're going to see this marriage between the two, and they actually do studies on this, why they get along very well. How they have very similar traits, like the same traits. Like they both came up from a home like this. They came out all acting like this. They were already showing signs before age 15. One of the things with Marilyn was I don't think I took a lot of his things seriously, and that has to do with the grooming from the other camp. Shoot. Yeah, apparently they didn't like Marilyn. At least Brian and Brian. Brian, we have two Brians here, so Brian, Marilyn. I don't know if he likes being called Brian, but, they call him that by his, real name other than Marilyn, but that's Brian, right? So then we have other perpetrator, Brian. And he was the PA to his little ringmaster over there that stood up, that the media keeps asking him questions about people such as Trump, Marilyn, and Depp, which is ridiculous because he's a cover-up queen for harming kids and allowed his PA to get a child. So in this conversation, how I understood it was Brian didn't care for Marilyn. I thought it was the whole camp. They just called him like he ripped him off or something. It was so weird. I was like, I have no idea what these people, but they talk a lot of crap. And then it's different people in the camp. So apparently it would be Brian doesn't like Brian versus Skeletor doesn't like Brian, the other Brian. Okay. And all of them have mental health issues, okay? Across the board. Skeletor, Brian, who's no longer here, and then this Brian. So to me, this is like the normal universe of assholes that I get along with very well, which is not a good thing. Not a perfect individual either, because when I'm going through this, like, there's just things where I just disregard it. Like, I think people are just talking crap because that's how I took it from this other camp. Because if you notice from the Skeletor camp, when they come out here, they're always like, oh, it's just show. No, with them, they're like real demons. They just present themselves as saying, oh, it's not real. Just ignore all that. We're just doing it for a shit show. But they're actually way worse. And when I met Marilyn, I do think that that personality that I met was authentic. I do not believe that was, I mean, he could have used it to manipulate me or something like that. But I do believe that that was an authentic person. It's a part of him that is authentic. It's a way that, it's hard to explain. So, he's trying to connect with people, you know, he wants something, he wants to connect with people. What is the end goal? The connection? I have no idea. Like, anyway, his security pulled him away from me because we could have been there all day long talking. He does like to talk. He likes to talk. He's also an intelligent guy, which actually gets brought up in here, and I'm kind of offended by what Rachel said here because I'm like, I have all that too. Doesn't mean I'm studying to start a cult. But I don't want to like disregard like her opinion on it. It's just weird. So watch. Okay, so they did this thing. And they go, claiming he studied manipulation tactics. Stop right there. That's not what was happening right there. So there's a whole thing on this for mental health. Let me find it. Should I take it off? Alright, so the thing with manipulation, and they're talking about, like when you go through these mental health things, at least over the years that I've been doing my research on these particular types, I usually go through sociopathy, ASPD, and have these debates about psychopathy, which I really don't like the term. There's just things to it, but anyway, through the years. And child development, and we're noticing, you know, how their sexual entire being is actually being developed in this area too, in this 3 to 5. And so these are the early occurrences of it. Okay, now there's always a level of normal. So it's not, I always talk about like the little sociopath kids because it's kind of a joke, but technically like they kind of stay stunted there when they're abused as kids. Like, totally neglect this kid, and this is what they're learning, you know, and then they turn into monsters, right? Or, you know, the parent is so abusive. Like, there's just a lot of things in this area, and I'm chronically always going back and forth with it, but no, the manipulation thing would have been from this area, okay? So every kid was a little manipulator. You are a little sociopath manipulator. You wanted to get that ice cream and you threw a fit. You would steal it. You would go into the refrigerator. You would do all these things. Everybody can understand the sociopath as a little child. Like, as a little child, basically. The homicidal part, not so much, but I could actually see the homicidal part. There were some weird parts, like, in the childhood portion where I was, like, learning. I'm not homicidal, by the way, but I was, like, learning, like, oh, do fish have pain? Like, there was this thing with fish. I'm, like, so weirded out. I love fish. It's very hard for me to eat fish or do any of these things because I'd rather have them as pets. But there was some gross thing where, like, I didn't understand, like, any of this. So I'm trying to learn about it. And, like, one day, like, we were in the store and my dad was, like, looking at fish with the head on it. And they were looking, like, they had their eyeballs. And I'm, like, pushing the eye, like, are they alive? Like, it's weird. You know, the kid's all curious. And then one day, I don't know, he took all the heads. So I took the heads one day. Oh, it was so gross. To this day, I'm so, I don't even want to talk about it. But I, like, took the eyes out because I'm curious. You know, when they were doing dissecting in school, but we didn't even get to the dissecting part in science yet. I would have been disturbed by me, but this is normal. This isn't actually an abnormal thing, but it was abnormal for me to take the eyeballs and put it into a cup with water and bring it to school. The reason why I did that, because I'm an artist? No, because I think there was a level to me because the kids were bullying me so bad. So this is going to get into some, like, Marilyn thing too. because they were bullying me so bad. I just wanted to just F with everybody. Like, I think there was a level of that. I don't even know, because they were picking on me, calling me fat, and throwing stuff, and then taking pencils. But I didn't have any desire to harm them, right? But I'm like, I'm going to F with them. So Marilyn does this typical behavior. I have seen it multiple times with him. You say somebody did this thing, and then I'm going to be friends with him now. He does that. Okay. I don't do that. This is something that happened when I was a child and we grew out of it, whereas he did not. Like, there's this thing right there. You should be highly disturbed if I kept going on like that, because then you might think I'm going to turn into a Jeffrey Dahmer, which could have happened. But no, it was just whatever happened right there. But anyway, I got really grossed out by it, and I'm traumatized by it for eternity by it. Because I'm learning about that. I was like, well, I guess I'll never be a surgeon. It's like that thing, right? But Marilyn's into cutting. No, I can't deal with it at all. I'll black out. Like, literally, I cannot deal with any of that. So, at least I had a normal, I guess it would be like a normal reaction to it in some way, and then an abnormal reaction to it, knowing that it's disgusting, so I want to make everybody else disgusted. It's weird, but it was some sort of mentality like that at a very young age. And yeah, and then you did see it later, like when my friends would come over. Like, there was this funny thing. There's just to get into the mindset of these people, okay, just a little bit. It's like, I don't have the same problems with these people, but everybody has gone through these things to kind of understand it a little better and try to get yourself to this point, and then understand when it goes way off kilter on the spectrum, right? I would say I was riding a little higher on the spectrum right there, but yeah, so one day I turned on the TV and there was this like horrible knee surgery, and my old friends from back home will literally remember this. So, like, it was so gross. It was so disgusting. It was so bad. So I was like, this is the perfect thing to tape and force everybody to watch. So, like, I tape this thing and they come over. This is when you're going to get, like, not Me Too's, but they're going to be like, she's so inappropriate, and gave us this, like, wrong video. I was like, yeah, wasn't thinking, like, I mean, I was thinking purposely to torture them, but, like, you know. So anyway, so they come over. And then at random, I just turn on the TV, and all of a sudden it's that. And they're like, get that crap off, get it off, that is disgusting. So I'll like make them like watch it. It was like, but a doctor would love it. They're like, wow, that's the most interesting video ever. And like, what did they do on it? It was so crazy. They just saw the kneecap off, and they did some burning thing on it. I was like, oh my God, I never, ever am going to have that happen, because it's so gross. Like, now you know how the surgery goes. And, but the person's, like, totally knocked out. They're not feeling anything. But, like, your mind's not going there. But anyway, that's just an example of some weird thing. Yeah. I'm not okay. Okay. No, back to this. I mean, we're still on this. Okay, so, yeah. So, here's the thing. At age 0 to 3, it's part of communication, not manipulation. That's what they say, but you know what I mean. No, so yeah, so at 0 to 3, you kind of expect this, the little manipulator, but they're like, don't call manipulator. Okay, so this is their communication, because they don't know how to speak yet, right? They're learning to speak, and the only way that they know how to do things is if they can't verbalize it, they do some physical things or whatever. So it's like infant and toddler lacks the cortex development required for advanced planning or deceit. So they're not like planning anything. They're just like, I'm hungry. And they're just like, like, this is just how they're acting out. I need to get this human to help me. Crying at night, throwing tantrums, and they're primitive ways of communicating needs. So this is normal. This is very normal. It's not going to be normal when they're 50 years old doing it. But like hunger, fear, desire for connection. But again, this is in a 0 to 3. But you see it in adults, right? You see these conducts. So this is when it's bad. So 3 to 5, trial and error. As language and social awareness improve, preschoolers realize, oh wow, I was way smart here. Like, I think I'm smart. I was the smartest at like this area, like 3, no, from like 5 to 6. I think that was my most brilliant brain ever. I don't know why. When I keep going back to this stuff, I was so like I thought out. Like I was more like I didn't have all these barriers stopping my thinking. Like today, you're smart. You have all these other messages going through your brain, but it's clean, right? It's not full of a bunch of negative garbage or some other thing that's stopping it. It was like I literally was just like clear in my brain and like, oh, I want to do this one thing, so I am going to do it. And it's like really thought out. It's really weird. But in this age, in this section, I guess, trial and error. As language and social awareness improve, they realize certain behaviors produce they produce specific results. Yes. So they may use crying, sweet talking. Yeah, now they're going to be like, can you please, all these kids at the last place, can you please let us use your swimming pool? I was like, oh, hell no, you guys keep ruining it, man. But no, they would do the whole suite. They laid it on thick, and you don't want to say no to them. And then you give it to them. And now I just solidified. You guys just manipulated me. And I let you manipulate me. Yeah, so that's where that is. Or selective listening. Selective listening. Simply because they have learned these tactics work to get a toy, a treat, or avoid bedtime. Okay, so you're going to start seeing these traits, all of these traits, these manipulator traits. But this is the normal, okay? This is the level of normal right here. And then age 8 beyond. Oh no, for me that would be 6 with the strategic planning. See, I was a little advanced. Now, males may or may not be slower behind. They may have just missed that they're on the spectrum. Some of these kids, I don't even know. But anyway, strategic planning for me started before age 8. We'll just put it that way. Okay, just keep that in mind. But maybe they were saying I'm special. So just coming from me may not be accurate. Like I may be more advanced than the average, so that may be why you've seen it. Maybe some other people out here too. So you may also be behind. So it may come a little, I don't know, a little later. So age 8. True manipulation, such as pitting parents against each other, playing the victim, or lying to shift blame, requires advanced intellect, abstract reasoning, and forethought. That was definitely going on at age 6 for me. 6, 7. Yeah. Like, you know what? We're gonna get all you kids right here to like go to your parents, get the money, bring the money to me at school, and I will go buy the candy for all of us. That started happening. Oh yeah, definitely at age 8. So yeah. I was like, bring all the change that you can find in your house from your parents, because we all got money laying around. We do at our home, but like all these kids do. So I was like, go bring all the money. Bring it here. So I'm going to bring a safe. Like I literally brought a safe to school, you guys, with a lock. I bring this safe at age like 8 or something. I'm starting a cult. No, so I bring this safe and we start our little gang, right? Because all the kids are starting gangs, like just cheesy gangs, not like the gangs you see really out here. Is like awesome angels, you know, that shit. Okay, so I go bring the money to me. And then I'm going to go to the store. I'll take all of our money together, which at least I didn't run off and steal all their money. No, I took all their money and I go, I'm going to go buy us all candy, dude. So I went to the little store where they sold candy to everybody on the way back to my babysitter's house. And I bought like this huge bag of candy. I get caught. The problem with me and why I could never be a good criminal is I'm so honest. So if you ask me certain things directly, I'm just going to say yeah. Yeah, more times than not. Like, there were times I probably did lie, but I'm just saying, it's like, you asked me directly, I'm not going to want to lie to someone else's mother. But she's like, where'd you get all the money for kids at school? Well, whatever, anyway. So they ended up taking the bag and then eating it themselves. Do you think that's right, you guys? That wasn't even a proper way to deal with that. Like, so the adult steals from the kid. No, I think she actually did end up giving us like a candy here and there, but I wasn't able to bring it back to the kids at school. Anyways, but those kids, some of them, they were really bad. So they would steal from me. I never stole from my friends though. It was only a babysitter thing where money was laying out. I'm like, I should just take some of it. They won't notice. Yeah, it was kind of like this thought. So that's like a sociopath thought. That's like an ASPD thought. Where like, again, it's a normal thing for kids, and then they learn, they get in trouble, and then they never do it again. But if I stayed like that, I would be a massive criminal. Do you guys see it? So, like, if I was like, yeah, just take it, they won't miss it. It's not a big deal. And then I just stayed like that, and I had, like, no development over it. I'm going to just be a career criminal. I'll just go in their house, take some shit. You know what I mean? Who cares? This was actually seen in Johnny Depp when he's like, I just tore up the place. It's just money. It's stuff. I just have money. Go pay for it. It's the same thing. That is very much ASPD. So, what is antisocial personality disorder? Let me go through it. It's not saying psychopath, you guys. This fits the traits of Marilyn much more. And the other thing, I have debates over the term just generically. But anyway, antisocial personality disorder, sometimes called sociopathy. I like the term sociopathy. I usually use it the most. This is the Mayo Clinic, so they use it. And that's the term I use. I don't like ASPD, but it's the same thing. It is a mental health condition in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong, right? So at the moment I just take someone's money. I'm so stupid at that age because, like, I'm not even fully calculating it like some person doing robberies right now, right? It's like, it's there, so is it really that wrong? Like, I don't really comprehend, is it really that wrong to just take it? Like, they won't care. But again, if I stayed there, I'm going to be a sociopath. But there's like this level of normal, like, where kids do these things and they're being corrected properly, right? Otherwise, it's neglect. If my parents just neglected me and I didn't even get busted for it, or pat me on the back for it, holy crap, you're going to get a majorly bad kid. And there are parents like this. People with this disorder tend to purposely make others angry or upset. I was trying to think of something when I was a kid, but yeah, like little kids, like on the normal, right? Like, may sit there and enjoy like their parents getting pissed off and they think it's a little funny. But think about it as an adult doing it to other, yeah. Okay. Purposely, so the word is purposely, make others angry or upset and manipulate or treat others harshly or with cruel indifference. That's important because it's not just like, oh, I'm just being pissed off at somebody. Christians do this to certain people, right? Oh, you go to Scientology. Oh, we're going to be totally mean to you. You know, like, just things like, just stupid crap like that. Like, they're very specific on these actions. Cruel indifference. Oh, you're redhead, so therefore we got to treat you like shit. You know what I mean? Oh, you're poor. We need to talk crap about the poor every day. You see them do it all the time. There's a lot of people with these traits, and sometimes they're like, they're probably all on the spectrum there. They're just not running as high as others, but they're definitely going on like this. They lack remorse and do not regret their behavior. So when they throw poor people on the street because they just don't like women, No regret. And then no, they did it. They no regret, none, no guilt. They don't feel guilt. Like you'll see people when they do something bad. We've all done bad things, right? And then you realize you did something really bad and it harmed somebody and you feel extreme guilt. Like that's authentic. Like you really do. And you come back and you're like, I'm so sorry. I can't, we can't make it up, but I highly regret my actions. Highly regret my actions. They do not have this. Okay. I don't know if I could say that Marilyn does not have any sense of regret, but I will say this. I haven't seen it. When he harms other people, does he show a lack of remorse ever harming other people? You find it, okay? But I have not personally, I have not seen that. It doesn't mean he never has. He may not exhibit it. That could be another thing. But me personally, going through all this stuff, I have never seen him actually have any, like, major sense of regret. Other than it almost seems more transactional. Like it's weird. Like if he gets into a fight with somebody, it's not so much that he even like regrets any of that, and then he wants to befriend him again for a different reason. Like there has to be some MO, maybe to piss other people off because they like to piss other people off, right? Purposely make others angry. Yes, I have seen him do that. So I was like, yes. So it's more this. People with antisocial personality disorder often violates the law. So this would be both Johnny Depp and Marilyn. Becoming criminals. A lot of times they associate this with like street criminals, but it's not only street criminals. So you're seeing it with, famous celebrities and everybody else. They may lie, behave violently, such as throwing crap everywhere, like my dad and probably some other people's parents and blah, blah, blah. Or impulsively. Now, just being impulsive doesn't mean this particularly, but it's just part of, like the soup. I was looking at the soup within Johnny because I was like, holy crap, that dude is like, he was already showing at age 14. And they're going to tell you something with that. It says, and have problems with drugs and alcohol use. So that's what I was saying. Do not just generically go, oh, this person has drug problems. And they just get clean and they're fine. Do you see that? This is a disorder that is non-curable. This is one of the traits that they have because of their problems. And I said it would be wrong of me to go, oh, all drug addicts are a bunch of sociopaths, because that isn't true. And I have seen a number of them and their conduct. So with Marilyn and Johnny Depp, they both have this problem, okay? So they get along very well. So they have difficulty consistently meeting responsibilities related to family, work, or school, or their job, or relationships generally. Just they have a lot of problems. Okay, so Jeff dropped out of school. Marilyn wanted to shoot all the kids in school. So going back to that thing with that, he was very open. He wasn't putting on a mask. He put this in the media and I just never saw it. That was just me. I just never saw that. But on other things, I think that even if I read it, I might have looked at it like he's just talking so much crap. I may have not have taken it as him being just generically honest. He's just being honest. He's just saying it with no filter. So is that a problem with him or is that a problem with me? Well, my perception, it would be the problem with my perception and me viewing it. So it's a problem with me. Now, I have to question me going, why am I just disregarding it? Now it becomes that question. But we know the answer to that because of the other camp over there, which was actually defending him. Okay, so they kind of broke me down. A lot of grooming on that perception in the media and with these artists. There's just the whole thing to that. So there's kind of this like normalization with this conduct. And I'm like, God, it's really hard. It was like leaving a cult because I'm like, I'm just as much as a part of it. Like, I'm a part of it because it's like I'm not responding properly to it. And but it wouldn't lie only also solely on the groomers. When you go back into my childhood, my father had a lot of traits here. He wasn't a lot. I mean, he didn't. I don't know. He has a lot of problems. Like, he had a lot of problems. So there's things right there. So you would be looking at my upbringing, which was good and bad, and then the normalization of that, and them pimping me out to these horrible humans where they don't see an issue with that, and then this type of thing. So I mean, it gets more in-depth as you're going through yourself and looking at that. But yeah, but it also will help you answer for him too when you know yourself really well. I don't know myself really well yet. Even still, like, I still go through a million things on this stuff. You could be on it all day long. But when you can answer, like, your actions, like when you once did something to treat others harshly, right? Like, everybody has done this, like, singularly. You've done something like that. You've done something with cruel indifference. You've upsetted somebody purposely to piss them off because you got pissed because they made you jealous. I don't know, some bullshit, right? You can look at it singularly and kind of dissect, like, why the hell did I do that? And then kind of, you'll look at this thing here and go, oh, okay. But when you have it in this grouping here like this, that's a non-fixable. Yeah, I don't have drug or alcohol problems, and there's somebody or a bot that keeps posting that on here, and it's disgusting. Symptoms. So here's the symptoms. So when you go through Jep's story again and Marilyn's, in their childhood, you have to look at their childhood, and it actually points it out here on the Mayo Clinic. Okay. Ignoring right and wrong. Like I said, if I kept going on, oh, I want to just take the money, man. Yeah, I'm going to go to prison. Telling lies to take advantage of others. See, that happened. The very earliest that I was remembering this thing, like, there's a level of normal, but I would say this is a little bit more sophisticated and a little, whoa, that could have got me. I was like, if I kept going on like this. No, all it was selfish. It wasn't even thinking of much. It's like, oh, I want this kid to pull the fire alarm because I'm really curious as to what's going to happen. That's it. Like, nothing that was like, I'm not thinking further about it because I'm like 6 years old here or something. But I'm not thinking like somebody's going to get massively harmed or anything. I just thought, oh, you know what? It'd be kind of funny for a little, maybe I knew there would be a little chaos. Like, I have no idea, but I was like, I'm just curious, like, what would happen. But I don't want to be the one to do it. So let me find somebody. Yeah, and I pulled this kid out who happened to be, well, I did not know he was I didn't know he had learning disabilities, so that's terrible. It makes it worse, the story worse. But no, I did not know he had learning disabilities. Me and my brother were standing there, and I'm trying to pick anybody who came walking out, and I go, oh, yeah, we know him. So I go, come over here. And this story is so, like, what? So anyway, I tell him, I go, now I am lying. Like, I lied to the kid. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Would you pull that lever? Because if you stand there and pull it, they'll bring sandwiches to you. I came up with this crap at age 6. Don't ask me. But see, do you see how my brain is operating at age 6? I think I was the smartest right there. I couldn't come up with no crap like that now, and I wouldn't want to. But I was like, yeah, if you pull it, they'll bring the sandwiches to you right there instead of having to wait in line. So he pulls it. And then the whole alarm goes off. All the kids are running outside. So we figured that he would run too. I mean, obviously, right? You would think. No! He stands there and waits for the sandwich. Well, that had to do with he had some learning disabilities, which, again, I did not know at age 6. But he just stood there, and everybody else ran outside. And I'm sitting with my brother, and we're, like, just sitting there. He doesn't come out. And I'm thinking, like, I'm going to get so busted now because of that, too, because he's there. He's going to tell him that I told him that. But I guess he never did. But anyway, he gets in trouble, and now I feel guilty. Like, I actually do feel guilty. Like, the story was funny for a while, but it was like, I feel really guilty and terrible about this. And because that's not the end result that I was actually wanting. I didn't want anybody to get in trouble. Like, you know what I mean? So, but we got to see all the kids run out of school. And, yeah, I never got caught for that. But if I continued on going on like that, I would be a very sophisticated criminal. And you should be concerned. You guys, that didn't happen. But, again, combination of factors. Not being sensitive or respectful of others. Okay, I think everybody out here like falls into here, and a shitload of Christians are absolutely atrocious. Yeah, when people disrespect me, I'm gonna be the worst person to them ever. I mean, that's just a given. But it's not really the same. It's like we're talking about sexual assault, how these men are completely sociopaths. On the topic, yeah, they have a lot of these traits, quite a bit of them, for a reason. Using charm or wit. I apparently have no charm whatsoever. Apparently none. I'm like, I try, and then they're just like, get out of here. I'm like, yeah, I don't have that charm. I'm too, like, I don't want to be a fake person, so I'm not trying to lay on something. Okay, using charm or wit to manipulate others for personal gain or pleasure. Some people don't even do that and they still get away with stuff. Having a sense of superiority and being extremely opinionated. Well, a lot of us are opinionated, but I don't have a sense of superiority. I'm running around like, y'all are beneath me. Christians are beneath me. Like, no, but you know what I mean? Like, Marilyn does because he is ego. I don't know if he feels that he's superior over me. That would be hilarious. I'd knock that down real quick. Having problems with the law, including criminal behavior. Being hostile, aggressive, violent, or threatening to others. Okay, a bunch of gangbangers, right? Okay, so apparently Marilyn was threatening gang members on girls and him acting like a banger, and a lot of men are acting in this manner. Feeling no guilt about harming others. Okay, see me, I lean on the side of empath, so even though you may see me do some crazy stuff, or had done crazy stuff in the past, I have a extreme thing about feeling emotions to an extreme, which also may be correlated with people on the spectrum, but anyway, or kids that were abused as kids, whatever. Okay, so it's a rarity that I wouldn't feel guilt about something, but you can make me feel guilty about something if you reframe what the hell I did. Because it was interesting, because if it's in a different context that you think you did something and you didn't think it actually did anything to anybody, but then you get confronted on it and it gets presented to you, like such as, oh, the kid has learning disabilities. I should feel bad about doing it generally, but how horrible is that, right? Like, I'm like, God, I'm like the worst human right there at age 6. Like, what is that? But no, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know ahead of time. And no, I wasn't like trying to prey on like somebody that I thought was more stupid. It was just whoever walked out the door. I was like, who could we ask that we knew? Like, there was a bunch of kids coming out and I didn't know all the kids. But if I knew it and then I did it, that goes to another level. That actually does go to another level. So, no, I didn't. And oh my God, to this day, I'm just like, oh, I can't take it back. You know what I mean? But, the little kids, you know, but yes, I feel guilt. Yes, I feel guilt. So I feel really guilty about it. That's why I keep bringing it up. Or like chucking the cheeseburger. Yes, I feel really guilty about it. And I'm going to keep going on about it because I feel awful. That's why you hear it. Most people don't actually talk about their worst behavior in public. I was like, they don't talk about it. But I'm doing it for a reason. It's like the example. Doing dangerous things with no regard for the safety of self or others. Marilyn does. Marilyn and Jeff both do very dangerous things with no regard for the safety of self or others, such as cutting people, them doing drugs, maybe drinking and driving, just doing, like, standing on the top of a moving train, that's sociopath behavior. So that's those people, those two together. Being irresponsible and failing to fulfill work or financial responsibilities. Now, this is kind of wrong in how it's presented. I know what they mean, but like, you could be a poor person and you cannot take care of your financial responsibilities. But like, okay, them doing drugs and spending all their money on buying drugs instead of paying their rent, right? Okay, so that would be an example of that. Not showing up at work because they're drunk, or not being able to complete the work because they're drunk, or, some other bullshit. They're just irresponsible, right? Like, purposely irresponsible. Like, not because they don't make enough money and, other conditions going on, but like purposely going, oh, I got rent to do, but I'm going to go just F it off and go party tonight. That's pretty much like their type of behaviors. I'm going to inject it instead. But anyway, so yes, that's our kind of behaviors. But the drug thing can fall in line with people with just PTSD that have emotional traumas. And I swear that they misdiagnose these people and they overlook the ASPD person and they start going, oh, they have PTSD. And I'm like, maybe you want to marry the two together, but did you just miss this part of that person? Yeah, they have. So I think they tend to have a lot of depression issues too. So they have a lot of different things going on because of this behavior. As you would, right? If you were doing so much drugs, you don't care about anything, but then you keep losing everything, and they're harm to self and others. So I always say, look at the person. It's like, are they a harm to self and others? Yeah, they're a problem then in society. So to themselves and other people. But singularly, people have done all these things in here, most of them anyway. And it doesn't make you a sociopath. It makes you a normal human being. But it becomes a problem on the spectrum when it's like, that's just how they are 24/7. And it affects their entire livelihood, right? So it's like we all had traits of doing things, or had done things, or there's a level of normal from childhood, but it shouldn't be seen in the adult. Aggression towards people and animals. There's been a lot of kids that have these issues. Not that they wanted to murder the animals, but aggression. So like, little kids don't understand, like pulling the hair of a dog or something is like bad, but it'll become a problem if nobody stops it and they keep doing it, and then they get an enjoyment out of doing it. Just things like that. Destruction of property. I've never done that. Not purposely. My pets might have. Destruction of property. No. So lying and dishonesty. A lot of people out here are a bunch of liars, and mostly in this Jeffrey Epstein thing, they're lying and they're dishonest. So again, everybody has these traits that they've done it here and there. Theft. Yeah, apparently when I was a kid, I stole some gum. Apparently I, stole some money. That was apparently as a little kid. Did I steal anything else? No, I didn't steal much of anything, actually. I talked about like maybe the 3 times I've ever stole anything or something. Like I was not a thief. Serious violation. Oh yeah, stickers. I stole the sticker. Yeah, that was a big sticker heist in the 1st grade. Yeah. That is so calculated. That was the same year I said pull for the sandwich thing. I cannot believe how my brain was going on right there. Well, she wanted to bring that sticker album to school and like brag about her damn stickers and doesn't want to trade them. I want that. So when you're gone, I'm going to come in this classroom because we know that door is unlocked. I mean, come and take it, and I'm going to take it home. That's it. I'm going to wait till everybody's gone. I waited till everybody's gone. I snuck my ass right in there, took the damn thing, and then what do you know happens? Teacher comes up. Did you take the sticker? Yeah. Yeah. I was like, what the hell, dude? I would have got away with this. That honesty thing ruins me to ever be a good criminal. Like, yeah. Oh my Lord. I went through all that and I go tell the truth. The antisocial personality disorder is considered a lifelong condition, okay? So this isn't just the random I lied the other day and some bullshit. This is a lifelong condition in this super problem. As you see, Johnny Depp, Marilyn, both keep having drug addict problems and harming other people. Johnny Depp obviously has more charisma and is more manipulative than even Manson. Like, a lot of people don't like Manson because he's coming off as a non-Christian, even though I think they both are. But a little bit more where, you know, they know and associate him with Satan and, you know, weird stuff. So it's much more easy to hate on Marilyn than it is for people to hate on Depp, which actually between the two, I think Depp is actually far worse, but, you know, it just depends how you want to look at that. But other people will say a different thing because those people are just as detached, actually, as those people that actually support that type of conduct. If you go into researching the people that are actually supporting that actually know them and whatnot, have very severe issues. So they will align with it, which we'll get into the alignment part in a second. But, yeah, so they'll do that. And, yeah, I found it pretty fascinating because they harm each other. Marilyn and Depp harm each other. It's like, fuck that, dude. That reminds me of my childhood. And the whole, like, friendship stuff wasn't really that great because it's like everybody's harming each other. Like, there's no, like, real emotional connection. And the people that I was emotionally connected to were not emotionally connected to me. It's just a feeling, man. It's a lone universe. But in some people, certain symptoms, particularly destructive and criminal behavior, may decrease over time. It's not clear whether this decrease is a result of effect aging has on their mind and body and increased awareness of the impact that antisocial behavior has on their life or other factors. You know where you can kind of see this also is in old G-Banger boys. It's kind of interesting. Where they had this moment where they were extraordinarily violent and piles of shit, you know, in these certain areas out here. And then as time goes on, you know, that actually wasn't that good. I do think it has a self-reflective thing. It's just like they're not getting therapy, nothing like that. And they're just like, it's like pointless shit, right? And then it's not, you get tired, right? Because you're chronically going to go to jail. You're chronically running around like, I don't want to get busted. You know, you don't want to keep running around like in this state of like, I'm going to get shot and killed. You know, there's a lot of things to that. New things start happening in their life. It's almost like therapy's happening without having a therapist, I think. And then where, like, it's not curable. Like, they're not totally cured. But it's like they don't do the more destructive things. Like, they may have a kid and it may force them into viewing something differently that they never had before. Just a lot of things to that area right there. But it's not that they're fixed, but they just don't do the acting out. Because that's the only thing that you could deal with this bullshit right here is when you can get them to not act out and do all these horrible things to self and others. But they're not going to get injected with empathy. You know what I mean? They don't have that. It just wasn't developed. Like some bullshit happened long ago. When to see a doctor? Oh, I tell them all, go see a doctor, even if you don't think you have this. Men. Like, go see a doctor. Oh no, a good example of the ASPD 8-year-old was the one that knocked me down and broke my wrist. That kid was actually far advanced in whatever illness that he has. And it's actually scary, but we've seen it was like through the parents. It's the same as the Duggar family. Those boys were not raised that. Those boys did not get born like that. It is being taught, it's being nurtured, and they're forever permanently effed up, okay? But they could get treatments, but they're never going to be fine. Sociopaths, so I study this too, but I didn't even know they had some research on it. I just study it just watching the people that I know that I classify as this, how they're getting along. It's interesting because deep down, they don't really like each other. Like there's this weird thing to it. But anyway, it says they often get along well with others because they are highly observant, naturally charming. Do you guys think I'm charming? I'm telling you right now, me, and not even Amber Heard, people do not think she's charming. So you can't call her these things because she lacks that particular trait. She does. Like a lot of people hate her. She's failing. You're failing, Amber. Who has the charming trait? Depp, right? There you go. Okay, and excels at mirroring emotions. You know who was actually preaching to do this? Is like Tony Robbins. All these people were trying mirror their whole thing. Get some report. Just copy their whole body thing. And I was like, that is so annoying. If I was even sitting in a room and some person started exactly mirroring my movements, I would think there's something deranged about them. But yeah, so they mirror your whole thing, your emotions. Like, I'm totally going on like this. And then, but guess who else does that? People on the spectrum. So when I go through this stuff, I'm like, you have to be aware that some other people could fall here and it's not for the same reasons. You know? So I just want to be careful. But it could be just overlapping that they're also a sociopath. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, I've been a little bit more cautious, you know, with this area right here because I'm very aware of that other thing. So it's like, yeah, you could be reading them and they're doing weird stuff, but it may not exactly be how we're looking at it, like a different perspective about like what's actually going on here. So, okay, so because they don't experience typical emotional bonds, they view relationships transactionally, right? All these men that are like, oh, look at my hot model girlfriend. Okay, that person falls here. Yeah, where it's just a convenient, you know, this situational thing. Yeah, they tend to be the human traffickers. They just don't view you as a human. Like you're like a sports car that you're going to deal with for a couple weeks and get a new one later. Like these are these types of people and you know them right away. Typically. I don't know if I mean, I can't say for Marilyn. It almost, I mean, like there's this level of like they desire to have a long-term relationship. Well, the way he treated Rose, which Rose will chronically speak highly of him, but actually the way, from what I read, Marilyn then found out about Rose and he went out and stalked her down and then ran into her and then they end up meeting, right? So he made, you know, the action to go meet her. And then he did not talk very good of her when they broke up. And that's not to say that she's some perfect human and never did any wrong. You know what I mean? It's not that. It's just that how he was talking about her in a sexual way that she wouldn't let him do something. I don't know. It went to a really funky level versus she has this personality issue between, you know what I mean? Like there's like real life issues. Like we were not getting along because, I mean, they both were doing drugs apparently, but you know, like we just again didn't get along due to, you know, relational, you know, some other legitimate reason that you wouldn't get along with another human. It turned into a sexual, like degrading her as an object type of thing, like not doing, you know, some sex act, a particular one. So it was not good. But why is he saying it? To piss her off, right? I think that was another thing too. So yeah, he does actions to piss people off. So what would be the MO? Oh, he's hurt, right? Damage, hurt, narcissist, the hurt narcissist, right? So um it's not because she preyed on him and he's a victim. You know what I mean? It's not that. Like, it would be different. Like, right now we have these victims talking about Marilyn, so they're gonna say these particular things that were the problem, but Marilyn is probably not gonna listen to it with reason. So this is a lot. Okay, so watch. So they don't have emotional bonds. So him and Johnny Depp, their emotional bonds, if anything at all, are that they relate to being addicts, to being all these other things. If they both became sober, or no, if one became sober, the other wouldn't be able to hang out with them. And they wouldn't hang out. I mean, it'd be stupid if he's hanging out with them and the one's trying to be sober and the other one's trying to give him drugs, or at least doing drugs around him. He would not be a good person to be around. Then you find out later, I don't know what's going on with them now, but in relationships like this that I've seen, both parties will get sober and then they find out they have literally nothing alike with each other and they move on from each other. And so there was something that kept the friendship together, their effery, right? Their mental health issues. I would say that with other people that I was around, where like when I started speaking out on these topics, right? These men did these horrible things. All of a sudden, all these people leave, right? So obviously, they don't care about me as a human. It's transactional in some way. I guess they just want to meet all these people. It's disgusting. But that's how you kind of start to, notice, like, these people actually don't like you for you. They're just using you because of as stupid as using me for rides. I'm going to be her friend because I need car rides. So, you know how effed up that is? I was like, it's effed up. But yeah, that's a transactional friendship. Has everybody done that? I think so. I think so. Like, it maybe in some situations it's a survival thing. Is it like purposely, like they want to be a user manipulator? I mean, obviously the action is, but is it also being done for self-preservation? Like, they could die if they don't get some help over here. I don't know. Like, you can go down this road of all the little, things that people are doing, and everybody's their own human and different reasons. But again, these are just transactional friendship. This allows them to stay emotionally detached and logically assess what to say or do to win people. I think, okay, you could almost say that everybody who has a fan base, they're pretty much emotionally detached from their people that follow them. You know how they expect you to say happy birthday to them, and then do you ever hear them saying happy birthday to you? Oh no, you got to pay for that. I was like, yeah, so it's a one-way street, okay? So yeah, they're completely like the Taylor Swift, all these people, right? Like, most of them are emotionally detached from all the people that are fans of them. And many times the person doesn't like them at all. So they could do whatever. That's so perfect, the analogy to that. They could do or say whatever, their brand. They could do or say whatever to the public to win people. Didn't Trump do that too? Yes. So detached and their fan base, and they could just say anything. Like, I'll say, I know you guys want to hear this, so I know you guys will love me if I say and do this. They don't even care because they're so detached from you. They don't care what it's doing to you emotionally because they don't have those emotions. They are void. This is the problem with these people, and that's why I keep saying they're void. And so I have these normal emotions, but that person does not. And so I'm sitting here going, you don't understand. I'm in pain. And they're like, who cares? What is that? They don't have it. They don't have it. So yeah, Marilyn may be void. It's hard to say that because, he does have emotions. I would say they're highly irregular, but I'll get to it. We'll be here all day. Strategic mimicry. Okay, they study how others express feelings and learn to replicate those behaviors. Yeah, but that still also is a normal kid behavior. Like, it's okay, by mirroring what they see, they create a false sense of familiarity and genuine connection. Again, you could be here all day, you guys. Superficial charm. They often possess high charisma and magnetic personalities. Depth absolutely did not, man. Not to me. So, but apparently to the rest of the public, he does. He was very blank. Like, they would do an interview with him, and he would just sit there and be like, "Yeah." So, anyways, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell is with that person. Like, I can't read anything off it. But then when you get him in the high state of doing something bad to other people, that was interesting. This is when he turns into Chase Merritt. And he was like, you know what? I was in a bar, and we all been in a bar, and some gay guy tried to hit on me, and I beat the crap out of him. And, I'm the victim in this case. So, you know what I mean? And you could just do whatever. And I'm a badass. And then that's where that charisma is with them. It's not charisma to me. It's a jackass. But he was literally going on like this. And I'm reading it, and it's his mouth. So it's directly from him. So I'm reading the context, the way he's saying it. And it's like, I don't give a shit about anyone. And, I'm this little rebel dude. And I'm just like, I had enough. Like, that thing right there. But that's his real self. Like, he's not under the pressure of I'm getting sued. He's just flat out like, I have no regard for other people. And it's that thing. And then you hear these people going, he stopped me from doing drugs. It's like, shut up. He didn't stop himself. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's just these things, but those people also have major problems. Major problems. Major problems. And it doesn't mean they're fully bad people either. They just are void of human connections with other people, and they have those problems. We already know she has those problems. I'm like, I'm trying to defend you, girl. You want to fight me? Yeah, it was like this thing. We just can't have women liking me at all, okay? So we're going to pick a war with her. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, don't make sense of that kind of crap. Okay, so lack of social anxiety. Without the normal emotional barriers like nervousness or fear. See, yeah, no, I have some or a lot of that at times. Okay, so sociopaths communicate with unwavering confidence and boldness. Now, I could put on, we've all put on the mask of this. So you can't call everybody a sociopath, okay? So because some of the things that Evan was explaining didn't come off right. I don't know. She must have read the generic version from somebody on YouTube. Okay. So if you're doing an interview and you just got into a big old fight with somebody, do you go on the interview in front of TV and just start going, F everybody, I just got in a fight with my ex right now, so I don't know. What do you want to ask me right now? I'm really pissed off. That would be authentic, though. I mean, like, you're in a state of pissery, and then you just keep it going, like, live on the air. But who's going to do that? Like, I know better. Like, you got to go in front of TV and be like, it never happened, right? So you shouldn't intermix those things. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know, but you would want to do that. Because I know it would make me look out of my mind, also. But at the same time, like, does anybody want to hear me going off on my ex? I mean, I might do it. Like, I mean, me being the honest person I am, I may just do that. Like, I haven't been in that position, but maybe. I'm like, yeah, I just got into a thing with him back there. He's such an a-hole. What? What do you want? What do you want to talk to me about? Oh, he's a jerk? Yeah, I don't know. It might be like that. But they would take it as comedy, maybe. I don't know, but no, I do. Like, if I have to perform, it was really hard. I don't enjoy performing as much as an adult. Like, as a kid, I didn't have this, though. As a kid, I was like, I love being on stage, and all these people seem to like it. Like, I like that whole thing about it, and it didn't bother me. I don't know. It's weird. But as we got older, the judgment thing crept up. And then, yeah, it makes me nervous talking in front of a whole bunch of people. But I get over it after like a few minutes. Like it hits me in a rush. And then as long as I feel comfortable after doing it for a little bit, I'm okay. Targeting vulnerable people. Okay, back to the damn fire alarm thing. Yes, if I knew the kid was disabled, had mental disabilities, and I purposely went after him, I would be a straight up sociopath going on like that. Again, I didn't, and I was really little. But if we did this as an adult, hell yeah. So, targeting vulnerable people. Vulnerable people could be anybody. It could be your students. It could be people of color. It could be people in poverty, people who are here illegally. It could be women generally, where they tend to be on the lower spectrum of power here. You know what I mean? You do this thing. So then they go, they're highly adept at identifying what a person needs, such as, putting them in positions where they need money, right? To try to do the barter. So that's like taking advantage of vulnerable people. Somebody looking for a job, they need to pay to, support the kid. So they know exactly what to do. Oh, I can get this from her if I just dangle like $20 above her head. That's the socio. So they go flattery or sympathy and supplying it to quickly gain trust. Corey phone. I was thinking of a number of people here. While this charm can make them fantastic conversationalists and highly effective in networking or professional settings, these interactions typically lack deep reciprocal empathy. Relationships are often short-lived or exploited for personal gain once the sociopath loses interest or gets what they want. But just because you have short-lived relationships doesn't mean you're a sociopath either. Just letting you know. So when you read this stuff, don't go, I've seen so many people go, oh, my mother's a narcissist. I keep reading it, and no, not everybody fits under the spectrum of narcissist. As much as like we could just fling it out there all the time. Everybody does things self-centered. And again, spectrum, like a normal level of narcissism within everybody, if you're looking for it. There's a level of healthy. There's a level of not as healthy. And then it goes on from there. But to get diagnosed with NPD, apparently they have a really high bar for that. I was like, I don't know, but there's been a lot, most of these men that we've gone through, all of them fit the spectrum of at least a narcissist. And they tend to have all these things kind of overlapping each other. So like when I'm going through those, like I would call them also a narcissist. But they don't pull out the narcissist thing here. But when they go into the charm thing, it's all manipulative. But let me go back to, I think that was... Okay, she was groomed as a teenager by him. Now, on the Marilyn side, Marilyn knows he's taken advantage of a young girl that is not as educated as he is. And this is not to inflate his ego any, but she's going to get into his intelligence, which she's trying to paint as something else. But I'm gonna try to tackle this. Marilyn is not a stupid person, but he is, his education, I would say on some points is undermined, but on some other areas, could probably out debate me on some things. So no, he's not a stupid person. We're just gonna put it that way. He does stupid things, yes, and usually when he does these stupid things, it's revolving around him losing his intelligence and running off his emotions that are not regulated properly, right? and just maybe some general areas where he is just not educated in, and also doesn't give a shit. I mean, just saying things just to, harm other people. But if he was really, really intelligent on himself, then if he had the capacity, then he'd want to fix himself. But I think in some way, a lot of these people think that if they go to fix themselves, they're going to lose their whole identity. Like, how would you feel if Marilyn, he would probably be just fine. But how would you feel if Marilyn, being a healthy human being, and he just started wearing, like, Levi's, like penny loafers, and like he went full, GQ. I don't know, some weird crap. Look maxing. I was like, look maxing. He starts punching himself in the face. He probably does do that. But I'm just saying, I think many times they don't even want to fix themselves, because I think they feel like there's going to be this massive death to their whole identity, because that's how he's known as, right? Like this kind of a monstrous person to begin with. So I don't find that to be quite hidden. We have seen him lose his crap on stage and beating people up. We've seen things like that, right? So it's not like this hidden human being that we just don't know he has these problems, right? It's like, how much do we ignore it? Again, that's a other person problem, and what we deem as being passable. Okay, so he went in these battles with people and he keeps losing the battle, okay? He's not Johnny Depp. Nobody looks at him like Johnny Depp. Yet they're exactly the same in many, many, many ways, except for apparently Marilyn's the worst demon, but Depp is a saint, because they enjoy tearing apart women. There are people on here tearing apart women too, but Depp has way more people supporting him, and also Depp has way more money than Marilyn. Marilyn's a little bit down below. All right, so now he paid Woods legal fees. He doesn't have much money left, you guys. He has to go on tour, okay? Okay, so there's a debate there. It's like, do you want to stop him from going on tour, or do you let him tour so he can pay all his victims? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, or he's going to go to jail. I have no idea. But in January, the judge reinstated a lawsuit filed against him by his assistant, Ashley. This is where it gets weird. Asked what led her to believe this, she says, if you take a wander into his library, he had a lot of books on cults and a lot of books on mind control and manipulation. I have a lot of books on, or used to anyway, on probably all these topics she's talking about. It wasn't like, oh, mind control. But actually, if you get into the LOA stuff, it's all about mind control. It wouldn't say mind control, but it'll say the science of the mind, or, you know what I mean? Things like that. So I'm looking at this like, wow, he's very well-rounded in what he studies, and he knows exactly, like, I could have a conversation with him because he's going to start pulling out some weird-ass crap from Scientology. And I went up to Scientology, I told you guys, and had that little experience there, but that is so I could talk about it anyway, too. But it doesn't mean I adhere to Scientology and I'm going to defend them either. But you should be educated as much as you can, on all these particular things going on in the world. This is just my opinion. It doesn't, I mean, if you have the Bible, I'm going to say, man, if you just wandered into their house, did you see that she owns a Bible? Which literally promotes pedophilia and human trafficking. And that's where we be coming from, by the way. All the things that are happening to him as a child, but because everybody was a Christian, right? It's not because everybody was in a satanic cult or in Scientology. They're coming out of Christian homes. So it wouldn't have anything to do with that. I just wanted to point it out. because that was annoying me. Because I was like, I have these books. I have L. Ron Hubbard in my fucking home because they gave me the book for free. Am I a Scientologist? Hell no. So, it says cults have different names and different styles. The Bible, that's the biggest cult in America. So anyway, it says, but ultimately they're the same tactics. They all have their problems. They all have their problems. Your family is a cult. Have you ever seen these mafia families? I mean, that's to the extreme. That's a family cult. We have abusive families. That in and of itself is a cult. So he said he also made it very clear that he would retaliate against anybody that went against him. Actually, there is a psychology to that, but in his words, betrayed him in any way. And a betrayal would be to expose him. Expose of what though? Because when they came out with the stories, it was like, oh, I'm not surprised he did those things, let's say in a consensual manner, okay? Like, I'm not surprised because I already knew he was a BDSM dude because we had this conversation. But the non-consensual part was the thing that was unknown to me. And the rest of it was more like, yeah, obviously didn't pay attention. Obviously, there's some things here where I just disregarded as just talking crap. Yeah, and then he has a very good side to him as well. So I wanted to make sure that was there so people could understand like how you would even into this thing right here. Yeah, and then obviously he normalized sexual misconduct even with his own father. That was important. So that actually ties into Kevin Spacey's story where that was happening. Yes. So then you're going to see this stuff kind of transpire and how he relates to, other people as adults and doing this conduct. There was just a lot in it. Sure, was he mocking around Corey Feldman? Yeah, but who hasn't? It's not to okay the conduct. It's like, Howard Stern did. Why isn't he targeting Howard Stern? I think Howard Stern did the worst to him. There was a number of people, but Corey likes to play games as well. Corey's actually way worse in some aspect here on personality problems. Yeah, so they actually united at a portion because, obviously they're very similar too in some aspects, but in other ways, no. Corey obviously wants the attention of Marilyn. That is interesting. Marilyn doesn't even bite on it. I have to give him that much because I will react to it. Marilyn doesn't. I don't know. He just I'm not even going to bother with this crap. Because it'll be nonstop. And in fact, it'll probably end up making Marilyn look worse. Just because of how Corey plays around with crap. It pisses me off. He probably already knows. And he's just like, pfft. But if somebody kept going on like that, I have to go at it. I have to go at it. Just saying, but... And a betrayal would be to expose him, and I think that expose him of what though? Can you tell me? Okay, so we already know he don't do any consent. But when you go back to his early stuff, and he was writing a book or something, throughout this read that I was going through, he was saying he doesn't consent to stuff. He's like, I tried to, drug out Conan O'Brien or something, and I'm like, holy crap. But I think that if I would have read it at the time I would think he's just talking crap. I don't think I would take it serious. But he's serious. So he's not hiding anything. It's me as the viewer going, take it or leave it. Discard it as nonsense or go, holy crap, this guy needs therapy. It should have went there, right? Everybody else kind of cheers it on because they relate to being that effed up. But if he drugged Conan O'Brien, He should have went to jail. Is that a kind of psychopathic trait? Yeah, it's a sociopath trait. It's like they might go. I wouldn't. I would personally would not call them a psychopath. They probably would go. I'm just thinking how they would go. They would probably say ASPD was psychopathic traits or something like that, like traits, the trait portion. But you'd have to ask one of them, and they still probably wouldn't diagnose them online anyway. But like the conduct there, because it's like it's harm to self and others. So it's like I don't care, just doing something to be reckless behavior. It's not. I wouldn't see me personally. Wouldn't use psychopath. I would say ASPD, sociopath, because it's the like Chase Merrick crime thing. It's like I just harm people. I think it would be damn funny to go get Conan drunk or knocked out for no F reason just because I think it's hilarious to harm the guy. That is a sadistic streak, right? But there's a lot of people with sadistic streaks, but they won't just do that crime because they already know, like, it's so effed up. I think so, yeah. And there was a time when I wanted to believe that there were maybe still good times and that we just had a few bad times. But the more I started to read stories that were popping up online, the more people that contacted me told me their stories, and there was just no way to think otherwise. He's being the best person he could ever be, which is probably not saying much, but he does have a good side. Like, I mean, I think the bad is outweighing any good in the relationship, but also in his story, he is on drugs 24/7. So it is making the problems with him worse, and it also makes it sometimes harder to read when somebody's under the influence and they're acting out in a strange way. That is it delusional or is it caused from the drugs, right? Like there's just a number of things there where somebody needs to be sober for a long time to really get like everything with that. But he's acting out like being high on drugs for days, right? And then if you're up delusional for days and you start having these like episodes, it's like, oh, is it from just that or additional? I think he has emotional problems just generally, but you know what I mean? So it says, in the week of the alleged ordeal, she got trauma therapy. Okay, yeah. But you're also dealing with somebody with major mental health issues. So yeah, you're going to be traumatized by it. So that I'm not disregarding what she went through. It's just the presentation of what she's saying is kind of off. And it really scared me and most of what she saw the mask go on. But this is what she's saying, the mask go on. He was about to go and do an interview and he was just on a tirade. It's like, yeah, but he's not going to go do an interview having a tirade. I mean, this is for anybody. I'm just saying, in context, like, if this was me, obviously I have a problem if I'm going on this massive tirade. And it says, one of us, I call them his narcissist trait. Wait, his narcissistic rants of just berating everybody. Wherever he had to get ready for some sort of event or interview, when he had to put his persona, makeup, and everything on, it was guaranteed that it was going to be a bad night for everyone. Now, I don't know why he's doing this. I don't know if it could be, I was like thinking about it. I was like, it could be a perfectionist trait in that as well. Like, he can't look stupid on the interview, so everybody is effing up, like this overachieving. I don't know, like there's something weird in that situation right there. It's too hard to read into, but that's how she kind of presented it. But then she said, I locked myself in the bathroom and he was going off and he would wreck things. He would wreck the house and he would yell at people. And I came out right before he was about to go on and he was just this darkness, these dark eyes. And you saw him slip into the Marilyn Manson persona. And then he went out and he was doing this calm, well-spoken Marilyn thing. Yeah, so But first of all, he's not going to go. Okay, there it is. Like, he's not going to go on there all yelling at people on this presentation to the public, right? Okay, yeah. So that would be you too. If you were going on like that, would. But when you're trying to look at like the MO to it, though, if you guys kind of stand back, it looks like he's trying to be Mr. Perfect. And he's trying to control, like, you're going to F this up. I don't know what he was yelling at. They were saying degrading people, but I don't know what's going on. She don't go into that. It's just, like, he's trying to make everything perfect. The stress is high. You're going to make me look stupid. Like, he cares so much. He has low self-esteem. Do you see it? It's this weird thing. Like, low self-esteem. And he's trying to control it, and he's, this thing about it. Something to do with that. I don't know. I can't answer too much of that, but it didn't come off the same way that, I don't know. It's just not reading right. Okay, so then, and that's when I realized, that's when you go back and you think about every interview that he's done in that persona, and you think, oh my God, what was going on behind the scenes? Was it ever real? Because I saw you just put that face on, and I know that's not you, and I know that face only goes on when the cameras are rolling or when you're manipulating somebody. And it blew my mind, and I didn't know what to call that until I was learning about narcissism and psychopathy. And they talk about the mask, and when you see the mask slip, and that's exactly what it felt like. That was gonna be a hard one to get into with that one, because it's like nuances. Like, there's a thing here. I'm not gonna get into it too deep right now, because we'll be here forever, because I'm gonna be going through this, that, the other. I would more focus on that area right there, is his emotional regulation, irregulations. I actually did pull that up. Throwing objects is a common sign of emotional dysregulation, which can happen when the brain emotional center overrides the logical center. This behavior reaction, often linked to conditions like intermittent explosive disorder, IED, that's an IED bomb, BPD, or unresolved trauma. Why it happens? When highly frustrated or angry, physical actions like throwing or breaking items, sometimes used by the brain as an instant thought destructive ways to release intense physical and emotional tension. And it typically stems from low distress tolerance, feeling overwhelmed by uncomfortable feelings and lacking a verbal or mental outlet. Impulsivity, which also, the impulsivity is actually connected to the ASPD thing too. So difficulty hitting the pause button before acting out on the urge to react. Brain mechanism, my brain just malfunctioned. Brain mechanisms, overactive emotional response combined with a diminished capacity to self-soothe. This is important because in his childhood portion, it's massive chaos. I don't think he got soothed as a child, you guys. There's a thing right there. So, would they connect that to say that's a psychopath? I mean, there's different areas here, right? Because the middle one is connected to ASPD, but also you're talking, no matter what, we're talking about childhood development, childhood trauma, and his emotional dysregulation. Death, big time, big time. All his stories in the early part, he's tearing up the place. He's shooting up at trees. He's doing all these things, right? They relate. These two relate very well on this dysregulation area. So it actually isn't as simple as just going, he's a psychopath and he's a narcissist. That's what I'm saying. I go, ugh. And I tell people, I go, you should learn about narcissism and psychopathy. And then they do. And then it went generically across the board like that. So I was kind of like, okay, yeah, now a little bit more into it. So, but I'd rather kind of go at it in pieces, like what is happening right before he's doing this? Oh, he has to be seen in the public. And what is the trigger to it? It's like, maybe it's just low self-esteem and how he's being presented in the public because he cares too much too. You know what I mean? Like, you could go into that thing right there. Like, what is going on? Versus, like, they're purposely trying to hide something. Like, I mean, well, the purposeful thing that they're trying to hide is that they have low self-esteem. He doesn't get happy, you know, when people are calling him Fat Manson or, like, when the gun thing fell down on him on stage, which is really one of those moments where you gotta kind of laugh at it because don't take it too seriously, but you know what I mean? But, you know, obviously, those types of things are scarring for somebody like that. I fell down on stage probably multiple times. I had weird things happen to me on stage. I just kind of like laugh it off, but no, like he may take it like it's a whole damage to his ego, man. That's the end of it. It was the end of it. It depends what happened. Okay, wait. It blew my mind and I didn't know what to call that until I was learning about that. Okay, so then. All right, go down. All right, that was it. But somebody. Now we're going to have all of Marilyn's girlfriends come up in here. Okay, so somebody named Jessica Rabbit. Do you need an injection? I don't want your rabies. Okay, she's big time mad that her lies haven't been able to cancel this man. That's just ridiculous. I just think that her perception on what his issues are is not the entire story or not viewed properly. But she's obviously is a victim to him. Marilyn does see her as a vulnerable person at 19. She is not capable of outwitting Marilyn. I can outwit Marilyn if I want to, you know what I mean? But I'm not into that. I'm not there trying to manipulate people. We're trying to be open, honest, and talking about problems. So he has problems and you need to talk about what those problems are. Nobody growing up ever talked about those problems. Everybody just lived with that damn problem and their F-ups. But then this person came in and it was so annoying. They're like, the amount of projection. This person is such an abuser. Whoever wrote this, the amount of projection in those quotes is unbelievable. There's no projection in her quotes. I just think that it's more in jet, like there's more to his issues than just going narcissist, psychopath. I think only narcissist here is Evan. Marilyn lost, honey. So. And she created an entire cult. She didn't create a cult. I'm not in her. I support her, but I'm not in anybody's cult. Where she and her pal scripted an accusation. That's not a cult. This person is just making stuff up. I don't know. It could be Marilyn. It could be one of his friends. It could be Johnny Depp. Who the hell knows who this is? But most of the people that have been going at her have been females, particularly. But there's been some men too. So, she's clearly well versed in all the buzzwords and Scientology terminology to troll through an interview. Well, I am annoyed by the presentation, like only Christians are normal, and if you're into Scientology or any other thing, then you're insane. So this thing is going on. Only Christianity is considered sanity, and any other ideology is a cult. They're all cults based on the thing that unites them all, like the information in it that we've talked about, is the male supremacist portion of the pyramid scheme, which people call the patriarchy, but it's actually male supremacy. So Scientology has the same ideology teaching male supremacy. So that's the portion that you should have a problem with. Not that a Xenu exists necessarily. Why does no one in the media ever ask her why she forged a letter from the FBI? Because they did. They went through the state, got thrown out, and presented it to her family court, saying she was the lead witness in a non-existent federal investigation of Manson. She used that letter as a justification to abscond with their son from, maybe this is Maryland, I have no idea, with their son from LA to Tennessee, and tried to deny James Bell access to their son ever again. The judge in that family court proceeding thankfully saw the letter for the forgery. It's online, go see it for yourself, and basically gave James Bell full custody, with Wood just getting supervised visitations once a month. Okay. No one in the media would ever touch this evidence with a barred pole, because it would clearly destroy her narrative. Okay, but you just took the story and flung it away from what is being presented here. So this is actually clearly somebody who has manipulative tactics. This person right here, and they did it so well, because it was like, what is the story about? Oh, she's talking about Marilyn harming her. So they took one thing on here, which maybe or may not be, it's not really relevant in the story. Really, it isn't. But kind of made you focus on this other thing between her and another man. Is this between her and that other man right now? No, we're throwing that aside. But they did. This whole paragraph is about, oh, the FBI letter, and then she lost her baby. So therefore, everything that Marilyn did should be disregarded. That's what this person did. So this person here has some major problem. So me, I would think maybe it is Marilyn. I don't know. You know what I mean? Someone, you know what I mean? But, and they are talking pretty clearly here. So they go, oh, look, you either won't allow this comment to be posted or it will be deleted within 5 minutes. But what? Good for the gander is good for the goose. Literally. That is not proper. This person's a hot mess. So we're not talking about her other boyfriend. We're not talking about her other kid's personal situation. In fact, we could even take that as true, and it all happened. It's good and fine and dandy. It does not dismiss the conduct of Marilyn on her, okay? Period. This is what they do. That's a manipulative tactic right there. So don't fall for it, because that'll get you going in on, oh God, I hate her. She's terrible. She did something wrong over here to someone else. So therefore, that means that Marilyn can beat the crap out of her, and it's okay at everything he did to her because we just hate her. This is where that's going. Whoever that is, you know what? There's a number here on the Mayo Clinic that, you know, if you have that damn problem, you should go see a doctor. I had to deal with this, though, with the other team that is defending him as well, the other guys. So yes, that is a clear tactic. So again, it wouldn't even matter if that is true. That is not changing the fact that Marilyn has major problems. He had admitted to it. Same with Depp. And they all sit there and disregard that these two guys, when they were younger, already showed these traits before even hitting adulthood. But no, he did not learn to be manipulative by reading a book of Scientology, Woods. That's what I'm just trying to explain there, is that it wouldn't be from that. It's just her comprehension of it. She's trying to make sense of it, is what it is. And I get it, because I was there. I mean, we're there. We're like way ahead, though, now. Like, I'm way beyond this portion of, I'm trying to understand my perpetrator because he's a freaking whack job. Yeah. So that's where she's at. So I'm just kind of going, Yeah, but no. And now you just made the rest of us seem like evil demons because we have these books. And if anybody has those books, therefore they're bad people and they're trying to manipulate others and start a cult. That that's improper. You know what I mean? If you're gonna start a cult, you have a personality trait. Like he could be a grandiose narcissist. I don't know. Me personally, I would have to spend. I think I would need to spend more time with him, but I think I got a good understanding of him by going through everything. Like going through what I know, going through a personal interaction. The personal interaction, like I said, was positive, but I could see that being not used in a good way. But I'm gonna play back. So I have that personality thing where it's like, you're gonna talk that crap to me? Oh, guess what? Yeah, and then it's either gonna go fiery war or it's gonna just be bullshit banter. It might go fiery war with that Jep thing in the background. I see the fiery war with Jep with this stupid Jeffrey Epstein thing. But guess what? Marilyn wasn't even named in that thing. I mean, I looked because I was like, oh, they're trying to pray over there. Oh, I see who they're trying to go at. Lawrence, freaking Lawrence Krauss. Yeah, but they didn't, at least I didn't see that. I didn't see any, like, thing where Jeffrey even wanted to connect with the Marilyn Manson. Or Krauss trying to lure a Marilyn to them. But I'm unaware of that. It could have happened, but I didn't see. I don't see Jeffrey connecting to Marilyn for a number of reasons. Johnny Depp is the one with the island, had all the money, and him was with a minor or two as well, and just a number of things that were more in common with Jeffrey. But Jeffrey doesn't have the commonality of what Jeb and Marilyn does together. It's weird, but yeah, you could literally study their traits and see like who's gonna get along, or you think that's gonna get along. And for the most part, it's pretty on point. At times, though, sometimes people are not friends who you would think would be, and it may just have to do with their egos or just to butting up against each other. Clearly, if you don't believe what I'm saying, go back and listen to the relationship that Johnny Depp and Marilyn have. It is not on the level of love, because who the hell would like give somebody a drug to knock them out that they don't even know what they took? That's not a level of care. It's disconnected, but they think it's funny, but neither one of them have any capacity to give a shit, so like they just harm each other. But they just see that as this like good brother thing, you know what I mean? But it's really bad. It's dysfunctional. It's they do criminal acts with each other, basically. It's like, oh, you want me to send you this girl? Like they just do things like this, the way that they conversate. But if they were in a relationship with well, even with me, if one of them was friends with me and they're talking to me like that, it's not gonna land well, and we're not gonna be friends for very long. Because I'm gonna be like, why the hell are you talking about her gender like that? What the hell? Blah blah. You know, it's gonna turn into this thing because I come from a level of sanity here where we don't go on like that. It could get passed off within the community itself. Like, obviously, they didn't learn the professionalism of the community when you're talking about play. Now, in the culture there, you could hear these things. So if it's like out of context, like if you heard it out of context where it is consensual, you could make that sound all kinds of bad. Uh, so, you know, it can get funky there if things are purposely left out and somebody brings up this stuff. But no, I see where the bad stuff is because Marilyn had already ran his mouth like long before this came out. So, no, it's not like, wow, it's just so unbelievable that he would harm people. It's like, no, he bragged about it and was talking about it, and everybody just kind of was like, ha 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 ha. Yeah, I mean, it was this thing. Uh-huh. And that's not to say his music is bad or anything like that. I actually liked his music. Some other people may not, but no, I was a fan of his music. It was definitely for a long time. But uh, him as a person, he's very problematic. He has a lot of mental health issues. Yes. Also, oh yeah, what was it called? There's actually a name for it. They just talked about this in the media the other day. It's the false love that people have for these celebrities and for other people. It's imaginary, right? So they have an imaginary thinking about the individual, and it's not real, and they base their opinions off those things. I'm basing my opinions off of multiple things, like everything that he has said, me meeting him, which is a really small portion of this thing, but I got to see the charismatic, smart person there. Okay, so that's what I saw. Then I'm basing off of, yeah, what he said, and now I'm basing it off of what, like, tons of other people are saying. So it's a combination of those things, and then what they're saying, what I experienced, and now I'm going back to what he said. So it's from his mouth, and it aligns. It aligns. It's not going against his actual persona. So to say masking, I mean, there probably is masking up in here a little bit. Like, I gotta act like I'm a good guy. But he's not actually acting like he's a good guy most of the time. He is acting like a jerk. But is the presentation of it, though, as well. Like, the presentation of it is just like, yeah, I was at this event, and I just, like, try to do this thing to so-and-so, and it's like, oh my God. Like a bad frat house, right? Like frat housing. And then everybody's just like, yeah, anyway, yeah, we all try to do that, you know what I mean? But the person that he's talking about is not going to like him. Like Conan, I don't think likes him. Conan has problems too, but I don't think that, like, if I'm on the other end of it and they're like, he was trying to drug me, I'd be like, what the hell? You got a major problem, dude. But nobody reads it like, nobody was reading it like that, other than maybe Conan was. Conan has other issues. So, like, other issues. But to do that action right there is a hot mess. Okay? He could have went to jail. So he's talking about ASPD. That's the harm to self or other portion. That's why I'm like, oh no, that's pretty clear. I wouldn't call him a psychopath, but he has very sadistic traits. They chronically seek love, but I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he has the capacity. It's kind of one of those things because of his childhood. It's the question. It's always these questions, and I'm going through these people. It's like, you kind of go, I don't believe they have the capacity for it ever. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't think it was a total accurate way to express it. I can't exactly follow her for saying it like that though either, because again, she's younger than me. She's trying to learn, and it is a complex area. It should be an area that we're all like really familiar with. I want it to be more normalized where everybody can just sit there and look at it and go, yeah, he's got these traits, he's got that trait, and blah 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 blah. So people could recognize it within themselves. But there's this thing right now, like a stigma of like, you shouldn't even try, and you should just trust us. And then they're totally off when they go and try to get them diagnosed. And then I have to sit there and suffer with it. There's just a lot to it, but there's so much stuff we don't know in these areas. So I'm just like, look at it on a human level, because understand what's normal in a child, and when it becomes a problem, and then how he's going on as an adult from that issue right there as a kid, And in order to do that, or when we were able to do that, then he would be able to see it at some point if everybody's aware of it. But most of the time they think there's nothing wrong with them. But he obviously has some awareness, that he's got issues, but certain things that they get so normalized, they just think, it's everybody else. And they will blame everybody else on those things. But, yeah, and then I end up getting them all the time. Do you see? We actually connected. I would have another story for you guys if I end up going to his house and, this universe starts happening, and then now all these bad things are happening, and then I came out here again with another story from another celeb, and I'm going to get attacked, and they're going to go, you're just victimhood. They're going to do this crap. So this is what's actually getting reversed and mixed up, and, it's just so annoying. But yes, there's so many men with these issues because they didn't talk openly about child abuse and or its effects on the children, and how it is not something that they just grow out of, that it becomes a permanent fixture. And then also on the side of Wood, where obviously she's got probably long life trauma, because this guy here, and maybe some earlier things with Wood, I don't know her childhood story, but some additionals in that, to be attracted to this to begin with, right? Because there's always a lead into, like, you like something about this guy, that's trying to drug her, but he's on, you know what I mean? I don't know, like, there's a thing to it, right? I would say the lead in to him may even be David Copperfield, because I was like Jeffrey Epstein's other friend. I was trying to, like, go through it, because I go, what the hell, dude? Every single guy, like from childhood is not normal. Like, Billy Joel is not normal. Like, he does really great music. Like, I'm looking at him as a human now. I'm like, there's literally nothing normal about the guy. He's a F up. Like, he is like sociopath city. Crashing into vehicles, lying, trying to pay his way out of it, and pretend, you know what I mean? Just all kinds of bad. But it is reflective in his music. And apparently this is what I'm like, yeah, when I'm a kid. But I don't know it. I'm not dissecting it. And then the next person is Tom Petty, who's another F up in many ways. And then he, for some reason, likes Johnny Depp, right? So he likes him because he's a hot mess too. So, but he's like going on. But there's this like sadistic streak in Tom Petty. Do you guys ever notice this like crazy ass psycho? Like in Tom. And it was that I like, not because he's like doing American country sounding music. It's like, oh God, that was like the normal back then. He's twisted. The dude's twisted. So he's got this like twisted character going on. It has a sadistic thing in it. So I was like, yeah, okay, if you start watching the ball move, and then it gets worse and worse and worse with the group that we end up over here. So I was like, yeah, that is weird. Nobody analyzes that stuff that deep. It's just, yeah, if you have the time. Yeah, it's development in your development years as a little tot. And who was the most sadistic in our home? My dad. My dad normalizes this crazy crap as a way to, I believe it's a way to cope with him, because he has to see dead bodies. He has to like deal with really horrible things, and the way he copes is make a joke of it, minimize it, make it not serious, right? He's doing this. So there's a lot to it, you guys. Quite a bit. But it's not out of nowhere. It's not as like, we just don't know the answer to it. It's just, you just didn't sit down and think about it very deeply. There's a lot.